Hey guys, welcome to the Dad Shoes Podcast, the dad group you don't have to go to, even if you're the ones recording.
That's true.
Guess what today is, Connor?
Today's the day we come out of retirement.
Oh, here. You know what else today is?
Thursday.
The first day of kindy.
Oh, yeah, the first day. I guess my kid did go to school today. You know what tomorrow is?
The last day of the week. The real Friday.
Not the second day of kindergarten. At least not for my kid.
What? Oh my god.
Yeah,
My god. What?
Yeah, they did staggered start, so.
Wait. Hold up.
Yeah, for kindergarten.
What?
I said, you know what tomorrow is? Not the second day of kindergarten.
No. I heard what you said. What?
Okay. For our school, they do staggered start for the kindergartners. So half of them went to school today. Half of them will go to school tomorrow, and then on Monday they'll all go to school.
Oh my god.
So they're not overwhelmed, right? The kids get a chance to see the room without the full class in there, and they do it alphabetical.
Why? What is even the point?
I don't know. He got to go in and have a day of school, and I tried asking him how it was going, but he was already playing Legend of Zelda when he got home. So when I got home, so said it was good. He said they didn't go on any field trips, and I said no. That's summer camp. They're not going to do that there. Not for a while anyway.
You got some
He
time,
was bummed
buddy.
about that. Yeah. Today was the first day of kindergarten, and it worked out. Both of our kids got to start kindergarten today.
Both of our kids started kindy today, and I am such an idiot. How do you spell kindy?
Kindy.
So my wife got this great little slate, right? And it's got it is a terrible little slate, let me tell you that. As the person who had to fill it out, it's got this
Yeah.
it's black, right? So it's
Your first day of school slate.
yeah. So it's got this little ribbon, which I assume you're supposed to put the kid's name in. So that's what I did, and then it says first day of, and then it's got nowhere for you to put what it's the first day of, right? Because first day of line. So I wrote next to it kindy, and I want you to know this. I'm a smart people. Kindey. Why? Kindy. In my defense, I was up for 3 hours in the middle of the nights.
Yeah.
So
I guess
we had an issue.
However,
last
I
night.
spelled it could have been kindy. So I don't know.
You know what? It's funny because I didn't even realize it till I'm writing up the.
English is
It's
English
a weird
is
language.
a tough language.
I'm writing up the script tonight, and
It's
I
hard.
go, I'm like first day of kindy, and I'm like, wait a minute, I put an E.
Kindy. Daddy, take me to Kindy, please. Kindy, please.
I started calling it kindy because, I don't know about you, but I like Bluey. So
Yeah, I mean because of Bluey, obviously.
duh.
We've been avoiding talking about this all day. We knew we wanted to jump on the pod.
Yeah.
And we had to come out of retirement for this big day. You guys took a picture. It sounds like.
Oh, I took several pictures, and not only does my oldest have a picture with that slate with her name on it, my youngest has a picture of her with that slate with my oldest child's name on it.
Of course. We don't have a slate. I feel like I'm missing out.
You know,
We did a picture, but I don't have a slate.
I feel like you could be forgiven for not. I feel like it's
It's kind of like that blanket that all millennial parents have,
millennial gray.
and it's got all the numbers on it,
Yeah.
like 1 through 12, and then you have the little frames, and you put a frame over what month your baby is, and you take a picture.
And then
right? What millennial didn't do that with their kid?
This one right here. I have the blanket. I still have it. It's just in the box from the first
You
one.
have the blankies to do it. Well, does it have years? Can you do years now?
Probably.
So you guys still got time.
How old are you? I'm 5. Awesome. Let's Dad, what is this?
Lay down
It's
right
something
here.
I should have done 5 years ago.
I'm 10, Dad. Enough.
I mean, it's oh goodness gracious. It's a pumpkin spice latte, of child rearing. You just get this thing and you do it. And my wife wanted to do it. And it's cute. It really is a very cute thing. I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
But
We did do pictures. We just don't have the slate.
the picture, look, that's
So
the point.
it counts.
That's the point. Because you're gonna remember what it is.
We got this great picture of my son walking into the school,
Mhm.
and my wife took the picture, and he just looks so tiny in the hallway. It's like an album cover,
Wow.
but it's like that is adorable, and like this little kid going into the big world. That's what we do. We do artistic stuff. We don't do trendy stuff.
Your wife has a real camera, right?
Not anymore. No, we just have phones.
Oh wow. I mean,
I bought her a real camera when my son was born. That was like we invested in like a real like Canon camera, and
Yeah.
then cell phones caught up, so I sold it.
I got to tell you that the camera on my cell phone, if I used it appropriately, it's as good, if not better, than most professional cameras out there. I've got the Galaxy Note 20. I mean, it's just amazing. Anyways, we got pictures of my oldest in her car seat on the way in, and I don't know how you do, but we got in line for car drop off at 8:15.
Yeah,
I
wow.
actually feel like it was, well, that's what time they start accepting kids into school, is 8:15.
really.
Yeah.
8:15.
So I feel like we were pretty good. We were in at 8:15 and we were a quarter mile from the school when we got into the car line. And we dropped her off. We were back on the main road heading back to the house at 8:45. So 30 minutes in a car line for the first day of school. I thought that was actually pretty
That's not
good.
bad.
Yeah.
We had a much different experience.
Yeah.
Our car line opens at 7:30,
Holy smokes.
and we were in line for 40 minutes.
Does your car
Not
line
necessarily.
open at 7:30, or do they start letting kids into the school at 7:30?
They start letting kids in at 7:30. That's when they start
Whoa.
letting people drop off. So the time we were in line, though, the 40 minutes, is not entirely indicative of how long it takes to get through the line, because we went the wrong way. So I would formally like to ask any school on the first day of school, especially for kindergarten parents, put some daggum signs up.
That's hilarious.
Let us know which way to go. Because we went, like, my wife was driving, and I said, just follow the traffic. And she knew where to go. And she told me, oh, I'm going to go up here, I'm going to take a left, and we're going to come around the school, and, so on and so forth. And I was like, well, you sure? We want to try to pull some, shifty stuff on the first day. Let's just follow the rules.
She was trying to pull some
figure it
shifty
out.
stuff.
It seemed like she was trying to pull some shifty stuff. So I was like, no, let's just go straight. We'll go to the parking lot where I know the loop is. And so
Yeah.
we go to the parking lot, and there's a police officer there, and he's like, yeah, you don't come in here. You should have turned left. So my wife was right, but she didn't know she was right. It wasn't shifty stuff. It was just the way she was supposed to go. So
you talked her out
And
of
he's like,
doing
"All
the
right,
right
well,
thing.
I talked her out of doing the right thing because she made it sound like we were doing the shifty thing, but no,
Makes sense.
that was
Okay.
just actually what we were supposed to do. So we get turned around, and he's like, okay, we'll go around this way, come right from the other side. And then we get to the front of the school, and it was the way we were coming, we would have had to make a left turn into the school, which you have to wait for somebody to let you in, right? You have to
Yeah.
wait for somebody in line to be kind enough to let you in.
Okay,
While you're
sure.
waiting, you are stopping traffic. So there's another officer there who has decided that people are not going to be making left turns into the school today.
Oh my goodness. But
because
that's
he
the way
doesn't
you
want us
have to
holding up
go to
traffic.
get into the school.
Yeah, so we ended up going, we took a right, we went away from the school, kind of circled back, and then they had this other option that we could park just outside the school and then walk to the gate. And we can walk him to the gate, and then there'd be a not police officer, what are the kids called with the sashes? Safety patrol.
Patrol.
There'd be safety patrols there, the patrols, to take him into school. And so we go park because we're like, forget it. We're not doing the car line anymore. We're just going to walk him up because It's easier. We get about halfway there, and we forgot the sign. Like, he's supposed to have this sign that says, my name is this.
What?
Here's where I go. Yeah, it's a little sign they have with all the kindergartners, just to identify who the kindergartners are. So if they get lost, they're recognizable. They can tell them where to go. We left the sign in the car. So I go back to the car.
Get the sign.
That's when my wife took the pictures, the first day of school pictures, get the sign, go back up to the front. And it has now taken so long that they're not at the gate anymore. We have to walk them up to the front door of the school.
Oh, my goodness.
So it was, it took a while.
That's funny.
But we got them there. And you know what? Spider-Man was there. That was kind of cool.
No way.
Yeah. I didn't know he was in town.
So it's funny. My mom comes up. I asked my mom to come up 6 months ago to babysit the kids. And my wife and I go out. And my daughter has just gotten into like watching Spider-Man, like Spidey and his friends and stuff. And we go out. And who do I run into in like downtown is Spidey. I took a picture.
Imagine that.
It was amazing. He was such a cool dude. He gave me web hands and all, and we took pictures. So it was so great. That is so cool that he was at your kid's school. He's such a cool guy, man.
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
I wasn't expecting him.
Yeah, man.
I really think, and my son has a Spider-Man backpack for school, brand new. And I said, all right, well, you've got to go show it to him. He walked right past him. He was just like he was going in the door.
Don't meet your heroes, man.
I think he was nervous. I know. He just went right in the front door. So I'm proud of him. We made it in. He went to class. He was a little disappointed about the field trip thing, but
yeah,
I think he's going to want to go back. So
good. That's good.
I'm happy for that.
We were only in line for 30 minutes, and we're driving out, and I'm looking at my wife, and I go, babe, 30 minutes, first day of school drop off? That's good timing. Like, that was good. And so we're all stoked, and she was a little bit bummed because she didn't get a kiss, and she didn't get to like say goodbye because she was driving, right? And so we leave, and we're in the line, and it's this weird kind of way, and I'm like, honey, you and I had like opposite happenstances. I'm like, she's like, hey, let's go down this road because the school is not on the road that it's named for, right? So
okay,
right. So it's like, listen, we need to turn down this school, and she goes, no, the school's not on that road. Let's go down this road, and we'll go in because you parked in the bus loop when we did the kindergarten roundup. So like we did the kickoff, and it was like where we met the teacher, and so we got to come in and kind of do like an orientation with the teacher, and then we also did. I missed it. I was working. We also did like an orientation day, Tuesday instead of Thursday being the first day of school. Which, why is Thursday the first day of school? I mean, come on, dude. You're gonna let the kid. I've had this problem since I was in school. Why would you start if you started on a Wednesday to give them a half a week? Fair enough. Give them a half week.
Makes sense.
Okay, ease them into it. Thursday, come on, dude.
You'd think for as long as I've worked in the school district, I would know. I got no idea.
Right? No.
I have no idea. I think the excuse we say is because we want to make it a slow start, but I don't think that's really true. I don't know why.
I think like teachers go back to work like midweek, the week before.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, they start on Wednesday, and then it gives them a week to get prepared, and then the kids come. But anyways, not the point. So we're in line. I tell her, hey, go up this road. And she goes, no, I'm going in this way because that's the parent drop-off. So she's like, no, honey, this is the parent drop-off. You parked in the bus loop. I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine. And so it turns out those cones are there for the teachers or the parents, not the bus drivers. So I'm right. So we have to go around. We make a U-turn. Whatever. Even if we were in the right lane, we ended up being in the same spot. It's not a big deal. Whatever. Still, we were only in line for 30 minutes. So we get in line, and how does your son get out of his car seat?
He gets himself out.
How?
I mean, he's good. He can unbuckle it.
No kidding.
He just does a little clip. Yeah. He's been doing it for a while. It depends on the car seat. The car seat in the minivan, he can get himself out of no problem.
Hazel.
He's been doing it for a while.
What is that? Is that the really nice one?
It's the second one we got. It is, I don't remember the brand.
Anyways, he can get out of that really well.
It's not the Cybex. Yeah, he can get himself out.
Huh.
It's not the Cybex. My daughter's in the Cybex. But yeah, he can get out of that one. The other ones, because he can do the clip that's like
the
on the
chest clip.
On most
Neither
car
of them
seats.
have an issue with.
It's the button.
Right.
Sometimes the button at the bottom is hard, but the car seat there, and my daughter can do it too, but she just doesn't want to. Like, we really started working with her on getting herself out because, my gosh, is that convenient when you can just say, "All right, kid, get out of the car."
Let me ask you something.
But my daughter, we started doing it with her, but she just is rebelling and wants to be the baby forever. And then she broke her wrist, so then she couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, my daughter broke her wrist since the last time we recorded an episode.
Listen.
She's
Put a
fine
pin
now.
in that. We'll come back to it next episode.
Yeah. We'll have a catch-up episode of all my ER visits in the last month.
Because they have been multitude.
Yeah. So now that she's not in a cast, we're going to start working on that again. Anyway.
So if you have an extra $15 lying around, let me direct you to something my wife found on TikTok. It's called Unbuckle Me. It's a wonderful little device. And I bought them specifically. My wife found another option that like clips on to the bottom strap, and that way the kid can just lift it up and push the button. But Unbuckle Me is a small business. They designed it a couple years ago because her mom has arthritis in her thumbs and couldn't get the kid out of the car seat when she was watching the kids. Anyways, it's a doodad. It's a doohickey. It goes over the button and you push the thingy and it unlocks. So the thought is you can pass
Give you some extra leverage.
Exactly. You pass it back to the kid. The kid, you say, "Here, time to unbuckle." And I've been doing this for at least a year where I'll just lean back, reach back, and I push the button and say, "Push." I push the release button, and then they lean forward. They loosen the straps. I unbuckle, pull. They pull out the hooks. They unbuckle the chest strap. Well, now I got this thing. And I don't even have. Listen. Just loosen the. I push and loosen the straps. Unbuckle yourselves, kids. Thing is awesome. It's called Unbuckle Me. I got one for each of my cars. It's $15. This is not supported. Unbuckle Me. You want to support us? Reach out to us at dadshoespod@gmail.com. Anyways, this is just what we call buzz marketing. It's a good product. It is a good product. So unsolicited marketing right here. That's what we got. And it was great. We're walking through, we're pulling through, and it's like, okay, all right, it's game time. And I'm like in the zone because we're doing drop off, right? And they have taught us. We did the kindergarten roundup, and they're like, parents, you're gonna get in line at 8:15, right? Because you're gonna get in line at 8:00 because drop off's at 8:15, and you're gonna be a mile back. Why am I so far away from the school? This line can't be for the school. There's no way, but that line is for the school. And so you're going to get in this line and you're going to be stressing out and you're freaking out. Why? There's no way. It's 8:30. I'm late. This line isn't moving. Why is this line? And so I'm like, all right, I get so stressed from people just not following basic traffic courtesy. Like when there's two lanes and you have to come together, just do the zipper, right? Like I'm gonna go after the Lexus, and then the Toyota's gonna come after me, and the Nissan's gonna go after the Toyota, and the Ford's gonna go after the Nissan, right? Just zipper in, right? Just zipper in. I'm like, just take a breath, babe. We got this. It's all good. We're just gonna. Oh look, we went the wrong way. Whatever. It's not a big deal. We go around, do the thing. So we're. It's like the home stretch. We're in the line, like the school is to our right. We're in the zone, right? I lean back. Here, babe, unbuckle your car seat. She unbuckles. She gets out. All right, I know we're moving. It's really weird. You gotta get out of your car seat. Get your lunchbox. Get your backpack. Get everything you need. and she can't put her backpack on in the back seat. So I'm like, all right, I'll take it. And we get up. We stop the car. The guidance counselor opens the door. She climbs out. I open my door. I hand her backpack. And it was the cutest dang thing. It was the cutest darn thing. She was just like, what is going on? Why is there this big old dude talking to me? Because her guidance counselor's got long, really curly hair, like I used to have, and just so sweet to her, like, "Hey, sweetheart, you excited for your first day? It's gonna be so good," and it was awesome. And then so I get a hug just before she goes out the door. I get a kiss. My wife does not, and she was very upset about that, but she got over it because she's a big girl. She's walking, and we've now got to get out of the way because we are halfway down the line. Like there's this whole long stretch where you can get your kid out, and we are halfway, and no one's in front of us, and everyone behind us is like, "Would you go, please?" So I'm trying to get a picture of her as she's walking down, and then she wasn't on the news, but her school was on the news for like a second. She was walking into this crowd of people like, "Oh my God, what is going on?" And they gave her, instead of a sign, all the kindergartners got a little rubber wristband, which my daughter promptly lost. And so the wristband tells you what teacher you go to. So you get out of the car, you go, that everybody knows. Yellow is for Mrs. Smith, blue is for Mrs. Jones, green is for Mrs. Green. And so they take her down, and she's got her color wristband, and they take her to the right classroom. Every example I gave was a woman, and that was not right. Even though all of the kindergarten teachers are women. It's a travesty.
There's one male kindergarten teacher at my kid's school, I think. Just one.
There's a lot of male teachers at my kid's school, and one of the guidance counselors is a male. And oh my God, let me tell you the coolest thing about my kid's school. At least half of the faculty have tattoos, and not just like, "Yeah, I got a tattoo. You just don't wear it." Like visible tattoos, and I'm just like, awesome. That's cool.
Yeah. So obligatory, we've got to say it. Teaching, in my opinion, is so fun.
Yeah?
I love teaching. I really enjoy it. Pay teachers more freaking money. It is such a shame.
Let me put it this way. Teaching sucks. Have you ever had to deal with my kids? Have you ever had to deal with me? Teaching sucks. Pay teachers more money. To be completely fair, I mean, I was a rough child. I don't pay attention to anything. If I'm not actively engaged, I'm not going to pay attention. I'm bored. I'm going to find something to entertain me. As a child, that wasn't relegated to like stuff on my desk. That was like, "Oh, there's a ball I want over on the other side of the room. I'm going to go get that." And I get up, and now I'm disrupting class. Right? Instead of just drawing on my desk, which I've done before, I've just drawn stuff just to keep my hands occupied.
Mm-hmm.
My youngest I can't ask people to do things I wouldn't do myself. And when I send her to school, it's because I can't watch her because I'm working. Yesterday, she had to come home early because she was throwing a tantrum. She didn't want to wash her hands. A whole issue there, but like, the teachers need to put up with that, and they need to be paid more. And unfortunately, she's in preschool, and I can't afford to pay her more. So, like, let's figure this crap
That's
out.
part of the problem is the people sending their kids to preschool are the ones who cannot afford to pay them more.
Yeah, I mean, really.
Part of the reason they're there is because I need a job. Anyway.
Yeah.
It sounds like you got to do what we wanted to do at drop-off, which was like...
Drop and go?
Go through the drop and go. Like, that was the plan. Like, my wife was ready for that. She's like, "No, we're going to drive up. He's going to get out of the car," and off he goes.
Huh.
We had some other problems that we didn't get to do that.
Yeah.
We didn't understand the rules. Maybe there was an email I didn't read. I don't know. I'll go back and look for that now.
Well, I mean, it's funny because
one thing-
you guys ended up doing what we ended up doing. Like, we ended up doing we went the wrong way. And fortunately, we just went around and made a U-turn. And we could have gone in and dropped her off, but they specifically sent out an email: don't park and walk your kid into school. Yeah, like, if you live next door, send your kid to school, of course. But, like, don't park somewhere and walk your kid in because it's going to clog the system.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, we got a little parking lot right next to the school. There's a little playground there, so they gave us that option. They said you can park and walk your kid up.
oh, that's so funny that it
We
was
wanted to-
exactly the opposite.
We wanted to do drop and go. Let me ask you though, how was there like a police presence around the school when you were there directing traffic?
If it wasn't the first day of school and it wasn't in elementary school, I would have thought something was going on.
Yeah,
Like
there were at
like
least
there were
4 officers.
Oh, that's cute. That's adorable. That's like sweet. There were at least 8 cop cars with their lights on at the perimeter. There was the fire engine
Oh wow.
and the rescue lights on, like the whole 9 yards, right? We had
Yeah.
there was I mean at least 6 cop cars on the perimeter, and then there were
Yeah.
more in the middle. I'm like, oh my goodness, there's way too many cops here for me to feel comfortable. Like,
Yeah. Now here's the news story that I want. Here is the email home tonight that I want
yeah,
for tomorrow and for the rest of the school. Here is a list of things that parents got tickets for today. Please don't do that. Like I saw at least 3 people get like pulled off to the side. No conversation with police officers. And I'm like, okay, I'm not being nosy. I just want to know what he did so I don't do it. Okay? Like, what happened? I'm just trying not to get in trouble. Send a letter home.
Here's the difference between you and me. I'm nosy. I just want to know what he did.
Yeah, there was this guy who was like having a really heated conversation with, like, he parked and then the police officer parked next to him, like lights on, and like they got out there having a conversation, and then he gets on the phone and he's complaining to his wife, and I saw him when I had to go back to the car to get my son's sign. He was still there on my way back to my son, and then like a car drove by, I guess with his wife in it, and he started yelling at not yelling at, but like explaining to her as she drove by, like, oh, this is what, but I couldn't hear what was going on. So I was like, okay, what did he do? Like, did he bump into somebody? Like,
Here's
did
what
he
happened.
cut somebody off? Like,
So-
what was going on?
So the cop lives next door to him, and the guy hasn't cut his lawn in 3 freaking months.
Maybe. And then the cop
And the cop pulled
afterwards
him
was
over
talking
because
to
the
these
guy
other
never
cops about
listens
it.
to him. So the cop pulls him over, and he's like, Tim, I have snakes in my yard because of you. Cut your effing lawn.
They're going to eat my poodles.
They're going to eat my poodles.
I'm just trying to follow the rules. Send me a list. Top 10 things parents got tickets for on the first day of school. Traffic citations, warnings, whatever. Because I don't want to do that. I want to follow the rules. I just want to get my kid to school and go on my way.
It's funny because none of the cops that were there were like, they weren't like on duty. Like they were clearly on duty, but like they were standing at the entrance. And I think that was what gave my kid her like, what the heck is going on face? Because there were,
Yeah.
I would say 15 to 20 people between my car and the entrance to the school holding signs and shouting. And half of them were cops or firefighters. Like, and it wasn't a huge stretch. And they were doing like a first day of school, come in, give us a high five. And if you were like the kid, yeah, I did this for the last 3 years, high five, yeah, it's cool. When you're a kindergartner, that's a lot of people, dude.
That's brand new.
Yeah, and it was
a lot of
the
pressure.
cutest. I tried to get a picture of it, but my phone focused on the teacher closest to me, not my daughter, so it's just blurry. But it was just the cutest face. Like you could, she was just like, "What? Like what is this?" It was great. It was a great face, and she ended up when mommy picked her up, because we don't know if we're in aftercare. The whole story there, but mommy picks her up from aftercare, and she calls me. She's on her way home, to pick up the other kid actually. And she's like, I'm like, honey, how was your first day of school? And she says, she just mumbles something. I said, honey, what'd she say? She said, it was bad. It was a bad first day. What? I get home and she's happy as can be. I'm an hour away on my way home, but you know, so by the time she gets home, she's been home for 30 minutes, and by the time I get home, rather, and she's super happy. It apparently there was
Police activity.
no. She had her own personal issue, but otherwise she had a great day. So,
Does your daughter have two teachers? My son has two teachers, like two kindergarten teachers.
no way.
Two in the room.
Is it two in the room,
Yeah.
or is it like a teacher and a
It's a teacher and a co-teacher.
co-teacher? Is the
And-
co-teacher like an intern, like in college?
I don't know. I don't know how that works. I know the one time I subbed in a kindergarten class, I avoided elementary school as much as I could.
I would have.
You know, it's having the same kids all day.
Uh-huh.
I couldn't handle it. I would run out of material, right? I'd run out of jokes. That's why I would do middle school and high school, because I could use the same jokes all day.
Over and over.
Yeah, different kids. So I avoided elementary school because I didn't want the same kids all day. The one time I did it, because I knew the school, it was a really good school. I had a co-teacher, but she wasn't in the room the whole time. It's like she wasn't a college kid; she was an adult. But I don't know if they like split time between classrooms, or if they are just both in there all the time,
Oh, so I remember.
or how that works. But my son has two teachers. He has a teacher and a co-teacher. So, like in that situation, if the teacher went on maternity leave, then the co-teacher's there, and that gives that little bit of
Consistency.
stability.
Yeah.
I know when I was teaching high school, I don't think they were called co-teachers, but there were like support teachers that would come in,
Not adjunct.
depending on the class. No, it wasn't adjunct. It was, they would come in and help students. Like they had specific students they worked with. And so like if I had a handful of those students in my class, I'd get an assistant teacher or co-teacher. I don't remember what the title was, but my son has two teachers.
I remember in elementary school, and I went to the same school for first through fifth. First and second grade, I don't remember my first grade teacher. But my second grade teachers, I had two teachers because I was in two different classes, and they were each by themselves. But in third grade, because you had the like primary and then the secondary part of the school. It was weird. I mean, it was, you had kindergarten, first and second, and then third, fourth, fifth in the other part of the school.
Yeah.
And in my third grade class, we had, because I had a male teacher in my third grade. It was the only time in elementary I had a male teacher. And we would split. Some of the students would go to another teacher's class. And then, so we would split classes. And then occasionally we'd have a secondary teacher. But in fourth and in fifth grade, I had like a co-teacher in my class, and she was an older woman, like older. I was 10 and 11, 9 and 10 age, and she was my parents' age, so older, for fourth and fifth grade. And she was like the co-teacher, but she would like help out the kids, and if you needed help with, we were just getting into computers, so if you needed help with a computer, she would come in to get you in and stuff like that. But she was like there as an assistant teacher. But I ran into her. I would think I was with you like a month ago.
I don't remember.
I
don't
can't
the
even.
conversation.
She was with. She goes, "Oh, you're Johnny." I remember. I was in your fourth grade class with you. I'm like, holy crap! How do you remember that far back? I mean, I remember that far back, so I guess that's how. But like, I don't remember your name, lady. So, anyways, my kid only has one teacher that I'm aware of.
We'll transition into a topic related to this.
Yeah.
Because this is something that I don't think that I'm ready for.
Yeah.
When it comes to school, I don't know how to handle it yet, and we've had a little bit of it happen in the last preschool, the summer camp that my son went to. Because the last summer camp my son went to, the kids were allowed to bring their own tablets.
What?
So, yeah, they at the end of, it happened pretty much every day, but at the end of the day, they'd have like an hour of tablet time at camp.
Oh my goodness.
I'm okay with it. I worked at a summer camp, and the end of the day, we put a movie on, and we told the kids, if you have a personal device you want to use, go ahead. Like, just don't disturb anybody. If you don't want to watch the movie, fine. We're not responsible for your device.
Nope.
If you lose it or break it, that's on you. Not my problem. You chose to bring it here. So the kids could bring their own devices. And because of this, the school couldn't, like, monitor the content the same way.
Mm-hmm.
It's not their device.
Yeah.
So one of the kids that my son made friends with had these horror games, and I told you about one
you
already.
told me about him. Yeah.
But we watched the guy play it. These weird horror
That's
games.
our next It Takes Tuesday game.
Yeah, that is scaring the pea turkey out of my son.
Pea turkey, huh?
That's the podcast appropriate word for it. He hasn't mentioned it in a while, but I told you about the one that came up. It's called The Man in the Window.
Yeah.
And he said that his friend was playing this game called The Man in the Window, and he was afraid that the man in the window was going to come take him. And he's like, "Oh no, Daddy, we got to hide." You know, we're doing bedtime, and I'm like, I don't want him to have nightmares because you wouldn't wish that on anybody, especially your kid. But we're at bedtime, and he's worried about the man in the window, and I'm like, okay, well, what is this man in the window thing? It is the goofiest game I think I've seen in a while. It's like an indie game.
Listen, I am all about playing everything on that list. I'm here for it. I absolutely want to start doing that. But that game is both hilarious, not creepy, and also terrifying.
Yeah, it was kind of terrifying because it's an indie game. It's like low quality,
which adds to it.
But they did a good job. You know, whoever made the game, like, props to you guys, but not for children, not for kindergartners. You know,
I don't think NSFC, man, NSFC.
Yeah, there's nothing particularly grotesque about it. Like, but just the concept, and my son now being worried that the man in the window is going to come get him.
I gotta say, the most impressive part of this story is that because none of it, there's no audio, like dialogue. There's no dialogue spoken. You have to read all of the dialogue.
Yeah.
That the kid who showed him and your son knew that somebody was kidnapped. That's impressive.
That's true. That's true. I think my son can read more than he lets on.
I'm sure he can. I'm sure my daughter can as well.
But the fact that it's just dealing with this content now, and I was thinking about it, in kindergarten, it's only going to get worse, you know? And I don't think of myself as a particularly prudish parent, you know?
I don't think you are as well.
I'm not trying to hide things from my son, but I want to keep it age appropriate, you know, and I don't want him to have nightmares because of this. And I have a friend who has a son who, you know, they're pretty free range with him. I mean, he kind of gets to do what he wants to do, and he kind of made this comment, almost remorsefully, of, you know, do you want a kid who's obsessed with horror games? Give them free reign on YouTube. That's how you get a kid obsessed with horror games. And I was like, you know, that is absolutely true.
I would rather oh my God, Cat, what? I would rather my kid is obsessed with horror games than afraid of everything.
As long as it's not leading to issues, right? Like I wouldn't be worried about it obsessed with horror games, but if it's leading to nightmares and waking me up in the middle of the night.
That's what I mean.
Because of stupid stuff.
I don't think if you're prone to nightmares, you would seek those out, even as a kindergartner. So my grandfather, Jaws is one of my most favorite movies of all time. I was a kid, and we have since 1976 vacationed at the beach. We watched Jaws, and the next day go to the beach. Right? Like, that was my grandfather's idea of a good time. And I was 3, maybe. As I grew up watching scary movies. And Jaws isn't really a scary movie, but when you're 2 and 3, going to the beach, a movie about a shark that's going to eat you at the beach is kind of scary. And, yep. You know, like I watched Alien and Pumpkinhead and Predator with my grandfather. Like, as a child, I don't mind scary. I don't get scared by movies. They're just movies. And we've actually, I think, had this conversation on the pod of how to get that mentality out of the kid, and maybe that way is let them play scary games on YouTube.
Maybe I feel like we had a similar conversation about like as a parent, your natural reaction is to say like, "Oh, monsters aren't real."
Right.
Don't worry about that. But I feel like we've had a conversation where it's like, no, you almost want to let that imagination play out. Like them creating the monster is them putting a identity to what they're afraid of, right?
You
it's
and
kind
I
of
have
naming
not had
something
this
the unknown.
conversation.
Maybe I don't know, maybe not on the pod, but I had this conversation with somebody where it wasn't like, don't be so quick to just tell them it's not real. It was like, no, this is their imagination. This is kind of how they play it out. This is how they explain the world to themselves because they're kids. They don't understand. And, I feel like we'll get there with kids, with our kids. I don't know. I wasn't big into horror movies growing up. I appreciated the art of it, like,
yeah,
I did film class growing up. I appreciated like Rear Window and, what's the one with the girl getting stabbed in the shower?
Psycho, or I know what
Psycho.
you did last summer.
That's the one I was trying to think of. No, I appreciate Psycho, but like, I also feel like when I was in high school, like Scary Movie was a big thing, and it was all about parodies, and I was like, this is just dumb.
Well, it's funny because when Scary Movie came out, I was like, finally, somebody is seeing scary movies for what they are. Because like movies like Scream and I haven't actually seen a horror movie in a while, but in the early 2000s up until 2010, every scary movie that came out was like, it's a slasher flick, right? Their jump scares are what scare you. There's nothing scary about the movie. It's, oh look, it's a monster, ooh, scary. Monsters aren't scary. Monsters are pretend.
Yeah.
Right. But like, I remember being in high school watching The Haunting, right, from 1958, I think, and it's a movie you never see what's the bad guy. You never see the villain,
the quote unquote monster.
right? You never see the monster. It's the house. Something is doing this, and you don't know what it is. And that was like, it was a real thriller. It was, oh man, what's going to happen next? Where it was like, when there was a monster involved, it's like, oh, that's funny. He's going to pop out from this door. That the monster's going to, don't go in that room because that's where the monster is. Whatever. I love zombie movies. They're not scary. They're just enjoyable.
Yeah. I do appreciate a good horror game, I think. And that's why I think I got a real kick out of watching What the Man in the Window.
That was a great video.
It was really funny. There's a new one that he came home. He started talking about yesterday. He called it.
Oh God.
He called it Scoobity Toilet.
Scoobity Toilet.
Now I looked this one up too. It's not Scooby-Dee Toilet, but that's what he thinks it's called. It's just Scooby Toilet. Nothing to do with Scooby-Doo. I don't know why it's called Scooby Toilet.
That's weird.
It was just really weird, and it's just a toilet with a human head coming out of it.
Is it a video?
Like, it's not really scary at all. It's a video. It's a video. He said he found it in Roblox, which that's a whole other freaking topic. I am not ready.
We
for
need
my son
an
to get
episode
into
on Roblox, because how did your son get onto Roblox?
Exactly. Not on his tablet, but this other kid at the school.
Oh, okay.
He had it on his tablet. It's the other kids. Like, you can't, you control the content in your own house. You can't control the content in other people's houses. And school is just that place where he's going to make friends, which is good, and they're going to share things, and just getting into that whole, like...
I think that's one of the reasons I want them to go to public school.
Yeah. Well, they get exposed to things, which is great.
Exactly. And some of the things they get exposed to, maybe you don't want them to, but you know what? They're exposed to it, and you can now bring context to it. There's going to be a lot of
things. Right. There's going to be a lot of things my kids get exposed to that I don't want my kids watching The Witcher, not yet.
Why not?
One day, not yet.
Well,
I have not watched season 3. I don't think I plan on it, but
why?
I will see. I don't know what they did with it.
It was good,
but
it was good. I enjoyed it.
There's
I didn't watch all of it.
Things that our kids are going to be exposed to, and now that they're in school, in public school, and there's a lot more kids
Oh yeah.
and a lot more conversations and a lot more development. Now we got to start thinking about, okay, how are we going to bring context to Scoobity Toilet and Roblox? And that's just a whole developmental thing. I'm not ready. Look up Scoobity Toilet, not before bed. I don't want you to get scared, but when you get a chance, look up Scoobity Toilet, Scooby Toilet, just so you can see. But my son actually said the phrase. He's like, "Dad, don't let me play Roblox. There's a lot of scary games on there." I was like, "I'm gonna remember that you said that."
That's funny because to me the whole point, school is about an education, right? And that education can come from the teachers, which I mean a lot of it is, but it's this whole like what we call the only child syndrome, where the kid doesn't know how to socialize with people and what. There's a lot of that comes from going to public school that I don't think they'll learn in a private school setting and or a homeschool setting, which I was always like, I want to homeschool my kids so that whatever, but I'm not. I can't do that, right?
I enjoy teaching. I never wanted to homeschool my kids.
I can't.
Never wanted to do that. Kudos to anybody who does.
Good for you. Good. If that's what you do, you got 2 thumbs up, buddy. Good on you. I'm not gonna do it.
Thanks for hanging out with us on the Dad Shoes podcast, the dad group you don't have to talk to anyone unless you want to. How did you deal with sending your kids to school on their first day? What was the police presence like? Anybody get a ticket? That's what I want to know. If you got a ticket on the first day of school, let me know what you did, because I want to avoid that. I want to try not to do that. Let us know your first day went, what kind of stuff your kids are finding on Roblox, and you can reach out to us at DadShoesPod on TikTok, on Twitter, on Instagram, or email us at dadshoespod@gmail.com. Thanks for hanging out.
Peace.